going to cover putting different glazes on your cabinet. If your cabinet's painted, we're going to show you how to put an accent glaze or a full glaze across the door and a couple of little steps in between there. Let's get started. We're going to take a black glaze. This is an oil-based glaze made by Benjamin Moore. And I'm going to go ahead and put it right into these grooves. I take just the tip. We don't want to go crazy on it, so I'm going to take it right on the point of this and I'm going to put it right in there. And don't worry about what's on the top and all that. Usually I like to use a smaller brush, but I don't have one with me right now, so I always make things work one way or another. So if you have a little bit of a smaller brush for this, it makes it a little easier, but it's not a big deal either way. I want to get both of these grooves anyway, so this covers them. I get all in there, right on the ends. Once we get this in, we can let it sit for a minute, and we'll come back and wipe it off of everything else and just leave it in the grooves. And you see what I'm talking about. Right here, this is another part, a channel, where I want to go ahead and accent that out. So we're going to rub it right in here. Like I said, it looks a little messy. No big deal. Would have been a lot messier, less messy had I had a smaller brush, but that's the way I am. So we get this all wrapped around here. We let it sit for a minute. See how easy it is to put it on there? It's just as easy to take it off. What you're going to do is you're going to take a rag, you dip it in mineral spirits. See how clean it comes right off? You take it right off the face. And then I'll come back and get it off the other parts. And you see the mineral spirits will not hurt this latex. Won't take it off or anything, so you don't have to worry. Now, right here, when I want to catch this and leave it in the edge, I'm going to take my finger on an angle. See how it leaves that? And it's right in the grooves. I just do the same thing all the way around. You'll come back after and clean up everything else. Very simple. Now we have the accents just around there. I can clean this up in just a minute with a new rag. Take a little bit more mineral spirits. I'm going to clean this up. You like to leave a little bit down in that corner. It just makes it look like it's done by hand rather than machine. And then I'm going to take my thumb, I wrap it around and I go on an angle this way. You see how that leaves a little bit in the corners? It really looks nice, gives it a good finish. I just rub it right up on there. Now I'm going to take another rag and wipe it. This comes off pretty easy because you already have mineral spirits on there. And you can clean this up as much or as little as you want. If you want to leave a little bit more on there, you can leave a little bit more. If you want to take a little more off, take a little more off. This isn't rocket science. It's pretty easy. Even I can do it. Take a look at that. That's a nice look. Now we're going to jump into the door. I'm not going to do the door the same way with accent glaze only. I want to show you how to go ahead and glaze the entire door. So since I sprayed a clear coat on here yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and wipe this down with acetone. Clean it up a little bit. It only takes a second. Just take my rag and wipe it around it. Once I do that, we're going to take this weathered gray stain and I'm going to rub it in here. And you don't have to worry, that stain will stick to this, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's going to give a nice look. We're going to go ahead and do that, and that's only going to take a couple of minutes too. I have one quick tip before we start on glazing this. I take my brush and I let it sit in mineral spirits when it's on the side and I'm not using it. I don't want it to gum up. It's easy to clean. Once you put it in mineral spirits, all you have to do is tap the sides, take a rag, wipe it off, and you're ready to go again. Now, if you're going from black to a real light color, you can wipe it real good with your rag, dip it into a clean thing of a clean jar of mineral spirits, and then do it again. Once you rinse it a couple of times, it's perfectly clean. But I use mason jars usually. This is a small one. Once I finished with this, okay, I'll take this and pour it in this mason jar. Leave it on the side. I can put the lid on it and leave it on the side. Tomorrow morning, all of that will settle down to the bottom and your mineral spirits will be clear up top. I'll pour that back in the can. You don't need to waste it. Then you can take this, you pour it out, and it just slides right out because this is a little mason jar. It won't stick to it. Slides right out. I take a rag, clean it out. These work perfect for that. Larger mason jars work great for this, but I didn't have one handy right now, so I use a cup. I've got my brush. I took it out of the mineral spirits and I cleaned it off real good. Okay. Now we're going to take this glaze, or really, I'm sorry, not glaze. We're going to take this stain, and I don't like getting my brush all jammed up. I don't want to see stuff all up in here. It's really hard to clean it. Keep your stain and all in this area. It's a lot easier to clean. So we'll take it, and I'm just going to rub it all over. You see how easy it goes on? Once we rub it throughout the whole thing, we'll wipe it off. I know it seems a little bit crazy to wipe it all off when you have this much on here, but it's gonna make it worthwhile. Okay. We don't have to worry about covering everything on this. This is just a glaze. Take this, drop it back in here, and let it sit in my mineral spirits. Take my rag and I'll just rub it on here. I'm not taking mineral spirits and just rubbing real heavy on this. I'm just taking a dry rag, and you'll see how it's going to give it a good little look. It'll darken it up considerably. You can lighten it up as much as you want with mineral spirits after we initially wipe it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You can stop there if you want, or you can take a little bit of mineral spirits, put on here, and you come back and you just hit in certain spots and make it look streaky. And that's it. Well, I waited about 40 minutes, and I just wanted to show you what this looks like up close. Now, you can leave this like this and just put a clear coat on it, or you can take it that next step like we did with the other and put accent glaze, and that's what I want to do with this door. Normally I would wait until it was completely dry before I put my accent glaze, but I'm not concerned with that because this is just for video purposes. I can take now and put this glaze on here and give you a good idea of how it's going to look. Again, with the glaze, we take our brush, dip it in, and we'll rub this glaze on here, hitting the sides real well. But since I'm going to bore you with hitting this twice, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of streaks in here to show you that you can even have another look. So instead of just doing the accent glaze, we'll rub a little black in here. Okay? This glaze and the stain goes a long way, so don't think you're wasting a ton of it when you do this. It'll easily cover a door. You'll easily do your kitchen with less than a quart of glaze. Shoot, it doesn't even take nearly that. And that little pint of stain right here will go a long way too. So we'll go ahead and take it. I'm just going to put a couple of streaks in here. You see how I have it here? It's just going to give it a little bit different look. I can let it sit for a few minutes to let it stay in there, or I can take this and wipe it off and leave some edging on it. If I go to take where these streaks are, I don't want to have a lot of mineral spirits on it because it will take it right off. So we can rub a little bit of mineral spirits in it just to give it that look, a little darker look. Like I said, the options are endless. You can do whatever you want with this. You can play around with it. Get the look that you want. If you want more glaze on there, you leave more glaze on there. If you want to take some off or rub it in and give it a streaky look, or like it's blended in, you can do that too. But you can really make this cabinet custom. There you have it. On this top one, we have the accent glaze. On the bottom, we have the entire door glaze. And both of them are very easy to do. There are endless options when it comes to this. All you have to do is think of a different color you want to put on here and you can do it. This is just a sage with like a gray, I have a weathered gray stain that I just rubbed on here and rubbed off. And this is a black accent glaze. Before we finish, I want to bring a couple of things up to you. One is, I'm a big power tool fan, but when I'm working with cabinets and I'm putting the doors back on and messing with the hinges, I never want to use my power tools because you will mess these hinges up. You can break them. I always use some type of hand screwdriver. These are my favorite ones by MegaPro. This one has a ratchet in it, so I can easily take my screws and make my adjustments both ways. A lot of times when I'm doing something like that, I want to put this on lock, which means neutral or lock. I can turn it and it's locked. It doesn't ratchet. Great tools, made in USA. I want to bring this one up especially because this is one that they're doing right now for breast cancer. For every screwdriver that they sell, these pink screwdrivers, they donate $1 to breast cancer. I thought that was a fantastic idea. These are not only fantastic screwdrivers that are super durable, but it has 15 different tips on here. And you can just take them right out the front or out the back here, put it in when you need it. If this is not the one you want, you flip it over. They have a bearing that locks it in place, so they really stay locked in place. You close this back up and you never have to worry about these falling out because these tips go into this cartridge in the back. It closes in here with a magnet and it's really well made, so this will spin and it won't come off. A lot of screwdrivers, you spin this cap, it falls out or it gets lost in your toolbox and all your bits fall out. That's junk. This is not junk, it's really a well-made tool. And it's for a good cause. MegaPro, megapro.net. I'll talk to you later. Subscribe to my channel.